The Galactic Council's mistake. In a galaxy far from Earth, the Galactic Council ruled over many planets with an iron fist. They were a powerful group, made up of representatives from various advanced civilizations. The Council was known for its strict control and confident attitude. They believed that their power was unmatched, and they rarely took any challenge seriously. Earth, a small and relatively young planet, was seen as a minor player in the galaxy. Its technology was not as advanced as that of the Council's member worlds. Most Council members thought of Earth as a weak and insignificant place. They didn't believe that humans could ever pose a real threat to their authority. One day, the Council made a crucial decision that would change everything. They decided to impose harsh restrictions on Earth. The reason for this decision was simple. The Council saw an opportunity to show their dominance. They thought that by pushing Earth around, they could send a message to other planets about their power. They believed that Earth's leaders would accept these restrictions without resistance. The restrictions were severe. The Council banned Earth from trading with other planets and limited their access to important resources. They also sent a warning to Earth's leaders, telling them that any attempt to defy the Council's orders would be met with even harsher consequences. The message was clear. Earth was to comply with the Council's demands or face serious repercussions. The leaders of Earth were shocked and outraged by this decision. They had always hoped to build better relationships with other planets, but now their plans were in jeopardy. The Council's actions seemed unfair and cruel. Many people on Earth felt humiliated and angry. They couldn't understand why such a powerful group would target their planet in this way. As the news spread, it created a wave of unrest among Earth's population. Citizens and leaders alike were upset by the Council's arrogance. The idea that their planet could be treated so poorly by a group of outsiders was hard to accept. People began to question their own government's ability to handle the situation. Was Earth really so weak that it could not stand up to this galactic bully? In response to the Council's actions, Earth's leaders held a series of urgent meetings. They were determined to find a way to protect their planet and its people. However, their options were limited. They knew that openly defying the Council could lead to severe consequences. The Council had a powerful military, and Earth's forces were not strong enough to take them on directly. Behind the scenes, a small group of scientists and military experts began working on a secret project. This group was dedicated to finding a way to respond to the Council's threats. They knew that Earth needed more than just words to show its strength. They needed to develop new technologies and strategies that could turn the tide in their favor. As the secret project progressed, the group worked tirelessly to create advanced weapons and defense systems. They also began to train a special team of soldiers who would be ready to act if the situation escalated. The goal was to be prepared for any possible confrontation with the Galactic Council. While this was happening, the Galactic Council continued to act with their usual arrogance. They were confident that Earth would eventually submit to their demands. The Council's leaders believed that their decision had crushed any hope of resistance from Earth. They had underestimated the resolve of Earth's people and the hidden strength that lay beneath the surface. The Council's mistake was their overconfidence. They had assumed that their power would be enough to break Earth's spirit. They did not realize that their actions would ignite a fierce determination among Earth's inhabitants. The Council's decision had planted the seeds of resistance, and the people of Earth were about to prove that they were far stronger than the Council had imagined. As Earth's leaders and their secret team prepared for the future, they knew that their actions would need to be carefully planned and executed. The goal was not only to defend their planet, but also to send a strong message to the Galactic Council. Earth was not a place to be taken lightly, and its people were ready to fight for their rights and their future. The Council had made a grave error in judgment, and Earth was ready to show them just how wrong they were. The stage was set for a conflict that would challenge the Council's power and reveal the true strength of humanity. The story of Earth's retaliation was just beginning, and it promised to be a battle that the Galactic Council would never forget. Preparing for war in the shadows of Earth, a new chapter was unfolding. While the Galactic Council continued to act with their usual arrogance, the people of Earth were not sitting idle. The Council's harsh restrictions had stirred something deep within the hearts of many humans. They were determined to show that their planet would not be easily subdued. As the days passed, a secret and dedicated group began to prepare for what was to come. This group was made up of the best minds from Earth's science and military sectors. They operated in secrecy, knowing that any hint of their plans could be disastrous. Hidden facilities were set up in remote locations, away from prying eyes. These secret bases became the heart of Earth's preparations for war. The goal was to develop new technologies and strategies that could counter the Council's overwhelming power. The scientists worked day and night, driven by a shared sense of purpose. They knew that Earth needed to be more than just a nuisance to the Galactic Council. They needed to be a serious threat. To achieve this, they focused on creating advanced weapons and defense systems. The work was challenging, but their determination was unshakable. They were motivated by the belief that their efforts would protect their home and prove Earth's strength. Meanwhile, Earth's military began to train for the upcoming conflict. Soldiers were selected and put through rigorous training programs. They learned to operate new, high-tech equipment and to fight with precision and skill. The training was intense, pushing each soldier to their limits. The goal was to ensure that when the time came, Earth's forces would be ready to face the Galactic Council head-on. The secret team also worked on developing strategies for their upcoming battles. They studied the Council's tactics and weaknesses, aiming to exploit any advantage they could find. The plan was to strike swiftly and effectively, using their new technologies and trained soldiers to their full potential. Every detail was meticulously planned, from the timing of attacks to the coordination of their forces. As the preparations continued, the atmosphere on Earth was filled with a mix of tension and hope. The news of the Galactic Council's actions had sparked a sense of unity among Earth's people. They were no longer just passive observers of galactic events, they were preparing to become active participants. This shift in mindset was crucial. It meant that Earth was not only building its strength, but also rallying its people around a common cause. Publicly, Earth's leaders had to maintain a facade of calm and compliance. They spoke about working within the Council's restrictions and trying to find diplomatic solutions. However, behind closed doors, the real work was happening. The leaders supported the secret preparations and provided the necessary resources to ensure that the plans could be carried out effectively. Despite the secrecy, there were whispers of the preparations among the general population. Some people speculated about the future, wondering if Earth was really planning a confrontation with the Galactic Council. These rumors created a sense of anticipation and excitement. People started to believe that their planet was capable of more than they had previously thought. The Galactic Council, meanwhile, remained blissfully unaware of the true extent of Earth's preparations. They continued to impose their will, believing that Earth's leaders were simply complying with their orders. The Council's arrogance blinded them to the reality that their actions had sparked a fierce determination among Earth's people. They underestimated the resolve and ingenuity of humanity. As the secret preparations neared completion, Earth's forces were readying themselves for action. The new technologies were tested, the soldiers were trained, and the strategies were finalized. Everything was set for the moment when Earth would reveal its true strength to the Galactic Council. The stage was set for a dramatic shift in the galactic power balance. Earth's hidden preparations had transformed it from a minor player into a formidable opponent. The Council's decision to impose restrictions had inadvertently sparked a fierce retaliation that would soon make itself known. In the quiet of the hidden bases and the intensity of the training camps, Earth's people prepared to take their stand. They were no longer just reacting to the Council's actions, they were ready to shape their own destiny. The next steps would be crucial, as Earth was about to show the galaxy that it would not be underestimated. With each passing day, the anticipation grew. The Galactic Council's arrogance would soon face the full force of Earth's preparation and resolve. The story of Earth's retaliation was on the brink of unfolding, and it promised to be a conflict that would challenge the Council's power and redefine the galactic order. The first surprise, the Galactic Council was basking in its perceived victory over Earth. Confident in their power, the Council's leaders believed that Earth would soon bow to their demands. They continued with their usual business, secure in their belief that no significant retaliation was coming. Little did they know, Earth was about to deliver a shockwave that would make the Council's confidence falter. In a hidden control room on Earth, the team that had been working tirelessly for months was finally ready to put their plans into action. Their advanced technology and meticulously trained soldiers were prepared for their first major test. The goal was to launch a surprise attack on one of the Galactic Council's less important but strategically located outposts. It was a bold move, designed to catch the Council off guard and demonstrate Earth's newfound strength. As the moment approached, the tension in the control room was palpable. The team's leader, General Carter, gave a final briefing. "We've worked hard for this. Remember, the goal is to show them that Earth is not to be underestimated. Execute the plan with precision and speed. Let's make sure they know that we're not just a minor player." The attack began under the cover of darkness. Earth's new warships, equipped with cutting-edge technology, moved silently through space. They approached the Council's outpost with careful stealth. The outpost was an important logistical base, but it was not heavily fortified. This made it the perfect target for Earth's first strike. As the ships closed in, the crew prepared for action. The new weapons, designed to overwhelm quickly, were ready to be deployed. A series of coordinated strikes targeted the outpost's defenses, causing massive damage before the Council's forces could even react. The attack was swift and precise, leaving the outpost in chaos. The surprise was complete. The Galactic Council's sensors had been bypassed, and their communication channels were disrupted. The outpost's defenders were caught off guard and struggled to mount a defense. Within minutes, the Earth's forces had taken control of the outpost. The attack was a resounding success. Back at the Council's headquarters, the leaders were stunned. They had received reports of the attack but initially dismissed them as a minor incident. However, as the severity of the situation became clear, panic set in. The Council's high-ranking officials gathered in an emergency meeting to discuss the unexpected development. "What do you mean Earth has taken control of one of our outposts?" demanded Chancellor Raxor, his voice filled with disbelief. "This is impossible." The Council's advisors scrambled to provide answers. They reviewed the reports and confirmed that the attack had been well planned and executed with remarkable efficiency. The realization hit them. Earth had not only retaliated, but had done so in a way that demonstrated considerable power and skill. The news of the attack quickly spread throughout the galaxy. Other planets and civilizations that had been watching the Council's actions began to take notice. The once dismissed Earth was now seen as a serious threat. This shift in perception was exactly what the secret team on Earth had hoped for. On Earth, the mood was one of cautious celebration. The attack had been a success, but the team knew that it was only the beginning. They had proven their point, but the real challenge was still ahead. The Galactic Council would not take this lightly and would likely retaliate with greater force. General Carter and his team gathered to review the results of the attack. "We've shown them that we're not to be underestimated," he said. "But this is just the first step. We need to be ready for their response and continue to build our strength." The success of the attack boosted the morale of Earth's forces. They felt a renewed sense of purpose and confidence. The Council's arrogance had been challenged, and Earth's people were eager to see what would come next. The surprise attack had achieved its goal of making the Council reconsider their approach. As the Council began to regroup and reassess their strategies, Earth's leadership prepared for the next phase of their plan. They knew that the Council would not back down easily, and that they needed to stay vigilant. The surprise attack had opened a new chapter in the conflict, one that promised to be full of challenges and opportunities. The Galactic Council's leaders were left with a stark choice. They could either continue to underestimate Earth and risk further surprises, or they could reconsider their approach and seek a new way to address the growing threat. The ball was now in their court, and the galaxy watched with bated breath as the next moves in this unfolding drama were made. The first surprise had set the stage for a more intense and complex conflict. Earth had demonstrated that it was capable of more than the Council had ever imagined. The story of their retaliation was far from over, and the galaxy awaited the next chapter with anticipation. The Council strikes back. The Galactic Council, reeling from the unexpected and humiliating defeat at their outpost, was determined to respond with a show of strength. The sudden attack by Earth had shaken their confidence and exposed their vulnerability. The Council's leaders were furious and resolved to make Earth pay for their audacity. They began to plan a powerful counterattack, aiming to crush the newfound threat swiftly and decisively. In the heart of the Council's command center, officials convened for an emergency meeting. Chancellor Raxor, still fuming from the recent loss, addressed the gathering. "We have been deeply embarrassed by this attack. Earth's insolence cannot go unanswered. We must act now to demonstrate our power and restore our authority." The Council's military strategists immediately began preparing for their counterstrike. They mobilized a formidable fleet of warships and assigned elite troops to lead the attack. The plan was to target key locations on Earth, ensuring that the retaliation would be felt across the planet. The goal was to hit hard and fast, leaving no room for Earth to regroup or retaliate. As the Council's forces assembled, Earth's secret team continued their preparations, unaware of the scale of the impending response. General Carter and his team remained focused on their mission, believing that their success had shifted the balance of power. However, they were about to face a much stronger and more coordinated assault than they had anticipated. The Council's fleet left their base and set course for Earth. Their ships were equipped with advanced weaponry and powerful shields, designed to overwhelm any resistance. The attack was scheduled to take place under the cover of darkness, maximizing the element of surprise. The first signs of the attack came as sudden bursts of light in the night sky. The Council's ships moved quickly, launching a series of precision strikes against Earth's key military installations and infrastructure. The initial impact was devastating. Cities were struck, communication networks were disrupted, and Earth's defenses were thrown into chaos. In the command center on Earth, alarms blared as the attack began. The control room was filled with frantic activity as the team scrambled to respond. General Carter and his officers quickly assessed the situation. "We're under heavy attack!" he shouted. "Deploy all available forces and activate our defensive systems. We need to hold our ground and minimize the damage." Earth's forces sprang into action, but they were caught off guard by the sheer power of the Council's assault. The new technologies and defenses that had been developed were put to the test. Despite their efforts, the Council's advanced weaponry proved to be highly effective, causing significant damage to Earth's military infrastructure. The Council's attack was not just about inflicting damage, it was also a psychological blow. The sheer scale and intensity of the assault were meant to demoralize Earth's population and leadership. The Council wanted to send a clear message that their power was absolute, and that any further defiance would be met with even harsher consequences. On Earth, the situation was dire. Cities that had previously been bustling with life were now in ruins. Emergency services worked tirelessly to respond to the crisis, but the damage was extensive. The people of Earth, who had recently felt a surge of hope and determination, were now faced with the harsh reality of the Council's might. General Carter and his team fought to regain control of the situation. They coordinated counterattacks and sought to repel the Council's forces. Despite their best efforts, the Council's overwhelming firepower made it difficult to mount a successful defense. The initial surprise attack had given Earth's forces a false sense of security, and now they were grappling with the full force of the Council's retaliation. As the hours passed, the Council's fleet continued its assault, causing widespread destruction. The leaders of Earth struggled to keep morale high and maintain their resolve. They knew that the Council's attack was a calculated move to break their spirit, but they also understood that their response would be crucial in determining the future of the conflict. In the midst of the chaos, a message was sent from the Council's command center. Chancellor Raxor addressed the galaxy, his voice filled with arrogance. "Let this be a lesson to all who dare to challenge the Galactic Council. Earth's defiance has been met with the full force of our power. Any further attempts to resist will be met with even greater destruction." The message was broadcast to all corners of the galaxy, intended to showcase the Council's dominance and dissuade other planets from supporting Earth. It was a clear demonstration of their intent to crush any opposition and reassert their authority. Despite the severity of the Council's attack, Earth's leadership remained determined. They understood that the battle was far from over and that their response needed to be strategic and resilient. The Council's retaliation had inflicted significant damage, but it had also strengthened Earth's resolve to fight back. As the Council's forces withdrew, having completed their primary objectives, Earth began the process of recovery and regrouping. The people of Earth, though shaken, were not defeated. They had witnessed the full extent of the Council's power and were more committed than ever to defending their planet and standing up for their rights. The Council's strike had been a powerful demonstration of their might, but it had also set the stage for a renewed and intensified conflict. Earth's people and leaders knew that they needed to adapt and strengthen their position. The conflict was far from over, and the next moves would be crucial in shaping the outcome of the battle. The stage was set for a new chapter in the galactic struggle, with Earth facing both the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. The Council's strike had been a dramatic reminder of their power, but it had also sparked a fierce determination among Earth's people to continue their fight and prove their strength. Allies arrive. The Galactic Council's devastating counterattack had left Earth battered but unbroken. Cities lay in ruins, and the population was shaken, but the spirit of resistance burned brightly. In the aftermath of the Council's assault, the leadership on Earth knew that they needed more than just their own forces to turn the tide. They needed allies, strong allies who could help them face the overwhelming power of the Council. In the days following the attack, Earth's leaders began reaching out to other planets and civilizations that had suffered under or were dissatisfied with the Council's rule. They sent messages of alliance and cooperation, hoping to form a coalition capable of challenging the Council's dominance. The response was mixed, but Earth's bold stand had caught the attention of several key players in the galaxy. Far from Earth, in a distant star system, a group of alien leaders convened in a secret meeting. These leaders represented planets and species that had long been oppressed or ignored by the Galactic Council. They had heard of Earth's resistance and were intrigued by the idea of working together to challenge the Council's authority. The leader of this coalition was a formidable figure named Queen Valara. Known for her strategic mind and unwavering resolve, she had led her people through many trials. As she reviewed the information about Earth's recent struggle, she saw an opportunity for mutual benefit. "We have seen the devastation inflicted upon Earth," she said to her fellow leaders. "They have shown great courage in the face of the Council's tyranny. It is time for us to join forces and fight back." Queen Valara's call to action was met with enthusiasm. Several allied forces agreed to support Earth, each bringing their own strengths and resources to the coalition. Among them were the Vorta, a race of highly skilled warriors, the Saran, a technologically advanced species with powerful weaponry, and the Draken, known for their strategic brilliance and vast fleets. The arrival of these allies marked a turning point in the conflict. As their ships entered Earth's space, they were greeted with a mix of relief and hope. The Allied forces quickly set up bases on Earth, ready to integrate with the planet's defense systems and prepare for the next phase of the battle. In a command center on Earth, General Carter met with the leaders of the newly arrived allies. "We are grateful for your support," he said. "The Galactic Council has proven to be a formidable opponent, and your assistance will be crucial in turning the tide." Queen Valara nodded. "We have all suffered under the Council's rule. Your stand against them has inspired us to join the fight. Together we can challenge their power and reclaim our freedom." The Allied forces began to coordinate with Earth's military. They shared their technologies and strategies, leading to a rapid improvement in Earth's defenses. The Vorta brought elite combat skills, the Saran provided advanced weaponry, and the Draken offered tactical expertise. The combination of these resources significantly strengthened Earth's position. The morale on Earth soared as the Allied forces integrated into their ranks. The once shattered hope of victory was rekindled. The people of Earth, seeing the arrival of their new allies, felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were no longer alone in their fight against the Galactic Council. In the days that followed, the Allied forces and Earth's military engaged in joint exercises and simulations. They tested their new technologies and coordinated their strategies. The cooperation between the different species proved to be highly effective. The combined forces began to develop plans for counterattacking the Council and regaining lost ground. As the coalition forces prepared for their first joint operation, the Galactic Council remained unaware of the growing alliance against them. The Council's leaders continued to monitor the situation on Earth, still believing that their overwhelming power would be enough to crush any further resistance. The arrival of the Allies had set the stage for a dramatic shift in the conflict. The Galactic Council's confidence was beginning to waver as they faced the prospect of a united front against their tyranny. The combined strength of Earth and its new allies promised to challenge the Council's dominance in ways they had not anticipated. With the new coalition in place, Earth's leaders and their allies prepared for their first coordinated strike. The goal was to hit a major Galactic Council facility, showcasing their newfound strength and sending a clear message that they were not to be underestimated. The coming battle would be a critical test for the newly formed alliance. The preparation and cooperation of the Allied forces had bolstered Earth's defenses and provided them with the resources needed to mount a serious challenge. As the coalition geared up for the fight ahead, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The arrival of the Allies marked a new chapter in the struggle against the Galactic Council. The combined forces of Earth and its new partners represented a formidable challenge to the Council's rule. The stage was set for a confrontation that would reshape the galactic order and determine the future of countless worlds. With the Allies at their side, Earth's people were ready to fight back with renewed strength and determination. The next moves in the conflict would be crucial, and the coalition's efforts would soon be put to the test in a battle that would determine the fate of the galaxy. The big battle. The time had come for the decisive confrontation. After weeks of preparation and coordination, Earth's forces and their new allies were ready to launch a major assault against the Galactic Council. The Council's military facilities, a key target in the coalition's plan, were heavily fortified. The battle would be fierce, and the stakes could not have been higher. The coalition's warships and troops assembled at the edge of Earth's space, their combined strength a formidable sight. General Carter and Queen Valara reviewed the final plans in the command center. The atmosphere was tense but determined. "Today we strike a blow against the Council's power," Carter said. "We've prepared for this moment. Let's make it count." The plan was to hit the Council's central military facility, a heavily protected stronghold that served as the nerve center of their operations. The goal was to cripple their command structure and disrupt their ability to wage war effectively. The coalition's forces would launch a multi-pronged attack, targeting key points to maximize damage and confusion. As the assault began, Earth's allies and military forces moved out in a synchronized attack. The first wave was led by the Vorta, their elite combat units descending on the facility with precision. They engaged the Council's defenses head-on, their advanced weapons cutting through the outer layers of protection. The Council's defenders were caught off guard by the speed and ferocity of the attack. Meanwhile, the Saran deployed their advanced technology to disable the Council's defensive systems. Their high-tech weapons and drones worked tirelessly to neutralize shields and disrupt communications. The Draken, with their strategic acumen, coordinated the movements of the coalition's forces, ensuring that every unit was in the right place at the right time. The Galactic Council's facility was thrown into chaos. The sudden and intense assault overwhelmed their defenses, and their response was slow and disorganized. The Council's leaders scrambled to assess the situation and mount a counterattack, but their efforts were hampered by the damage already inflicted. General Carter and Queen Valara watched the battle unfold from their command posts. The sight of the coalition's forces pushing through the Council's defenses was both exhilarating and nerve-wracking. "We're making progress," Valara said, "but we need to keep the pressure on. We can't let them regroup." The battle raged on, with both sides sustaining heavy losses. The coalition's forces fought valiantly, driven by their shared goal of ending the Council's tyranny. Earth's troops, now battle-hardened and experienced, fought alongside their allies with determination and skill. Despite the progress, the Council's forces were not ready to surrender. They fought fiercely, using every resource at their disposal to defend their facility. The Council's leadership, desperate to turn the tide, deployed additional reinforcements and called for a counteroffensive. The battle became a desperate struggle, with both sides fighting with everything they had. Amidst the chaos, a critical moment arrived. The coalition's forces had managed to breach the inner sanctum of the facility, where the Council's high command was located. General Carter and his team pushed forward, determined to reach the heart of the Council's operations. As they fought their way through the facility, they encountered fierce resistance. The Council's elite guards, trained to protect their leaders, engaged the Coalition's troops in intense combat. The battle was brutal, with both sides taking heavy casualties. Finally, General Carter and his team reached the command center. The Council's leaders, realizing that their facility was on the brink of collapse, made a last-ditch effort to defend their position. The confrontation was fierce, but the Coalition's forces, bolstered by their allies' support, managed to overpower the Council's defenders. With the command center secured, the Coalition's forces began to dismantle the Council's operations. Key systems were shut down, and critical data was retrieved. The Galactic Council's ability to coordinate their military efforts was effectively neutralized. The facility, once a symbol of their power, was left in ruins. As the dust settled, the Coalition's forces regrouped and assessed the results of the battle. The victory was hard-won, but it was significant. The Galactic Council had suffered a major blow, and their ability to wage war had been severely compromised. On Earth, the mood was one of cautious celebration. The battle had been brutal and costly, but it marked a turning point in the conflict. The people of Earth and their allies had demonstrated their strength and resolve. The tide of the war had begun to shift, and the Galactic Council's dominance was now seriously challenged. The victory at the facility sent a powerful message to the galaxy. The once untouchable Council had been struck hard, and their grip on power was weakening. Other planets and civilizations, inspired by the Coalition's success, began to rally to the cause. The battle had shown that unity and determination could overcome even the most formidable adversaries. Earth and its allies had proved that they were capable of standing up to the Council and fighting for their freedom. The path ahead would be challenging, but the victory in this battle provided a crucial boost to their efforts. As the Coalition's forces prepared for the next phase of their campaign, the galaxy watched with anticipation. The fight against the Galactic Council was far from over, but the success of this battle had set the stage for a new chapter in the struggle for freedom and justice. A new beginning. The dust of battle had settled, and the once mighty Galactic Council was now reeling from the crushing defeat. The destruction of their central military facility had dealt a significant blow to their power, and the Coalition's victory had shifted the balance of the conflict. With their command structure in disarray and their military capabilities severely weakened, the Council faced a new reality. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth and its allies began the process of rebuilding and strategizing. The Coalition's forces, though weary from the intense fighting, were filled with a sense of accomplishment. The victory had not come easily, but it had been a decisive step toward challenging the Council's dominance. On Earth, General Carter and Queen Valara held a conference with their senior officers and allies. The meeting was focused on discussing the next steps and the future of their coalition. The atmosphere was hopeful, but the gravity of the situation was not lost on anyone. General Carter addressed the gathering. "We've achieved a major victory, but the war is far from over. The Galactic Council is wounded but not defeated. We need to continue our efforts to dismantle their power and ensure that they can never oppress us again." Queen Valara nodded in agreement. "Our success in this battle has shown that unity and cooperation can overcome even the greatest challenges. We must use this momentum to push forward and build a new future for our worlds." The Coalition's leaders began to outline their plans for the future. Their immediate goal was to consolidate their gains and secure the regions that had been liberated. They also aimed to support the reconstruction of the damaged areas, ensuring that the people could recover and rebuild their lives. Efforts were made to strengthen alliances and expand the Coalition's support. Representatives from various planets and civilizations were invited to join the alliance, further solidifying the united front against the Galactic Council. The Coalition's strength grew as more worlds pledged their support. On Earth, the mood was one of cautious optimism. The victory had boosted morale and renewed hope among the people. Rebuilding efforts were underway, with communities coming together to repair the damage caused by the Council's attack. The spirit of resilience and determination was evident as people worked side by side to restore their world. The Coalition's forces also focused on intelligence and reconnaissance. They sought to uncover any remaining Council strongholds and gather information on their remaining capabilities. The goal was to prevent any resurgence and to ensure that the Council could not regroup and launch a counteroffensive. As the coalition's plans took shape, the leaders worked to establish diplomatic channels with other civilizations. They sought to create a lasting peace and build a new order that would prevent future conflicts. The aim was to foster cooperation and mutual respect among the galaxy's diverse peoples. The Galactic Council, now in disarray, struggled to regain its footing. The loss of their central facility had disrupted their command structure and morale. The Council's leaders, facing internal dissent and external pressure, were forced to reconsider their approach. Their once unquestioned authority was now challenged, and they faced a critical decision on how to respond. In a secret meeting, the remaining Council leaders debated their next move. They were aware that their position had been weakened and that their control over the galaxy was slipping. The decision was made to regroup and attempt to salvage their remaining resources. They knew that any further attempts to crush the coalition would require careful planning and significant resources. The coalition's efforts to rebuild and strengthen their position continued, but the leaders were mindful of the challenges ahead. They understood that the path to lasting peace would be fraught with difficulties and that the Council's remnants would not easily relinquish their power. The end of the battle marked the beginning of a new chapter for Earth and its allies. The struggle for freedom and justice had taken a significant step forward, but the journey was far from complete. The coalition's leaders were determined to build a future where tyranny and oppression would no longer have a place. As the coalition moved forward, the galaxy watched with anticipation. The victory over the Galactic Council had demonstrated the power of unity and resistance, and it had inspired hope across the stars. The new era that was beginning promised to be one of cooperation, rebuilding, and forging a better future for all. With the Council's power broken and the coalition's strength growing, the galaxy stood at a crossroads. The challenges ahead would require continued effort and dedication, but the promise of a new beginning was a powerful motivator. Earth and its allies were ready to face the future with courage and resolve, determined to create a new order where freedom and justice would prevail. The fight against the Galactic Council had shown that even the most powerful forces could be challenged and defeated. It had also demonstrated the strength that comes from working together and standing up for what is right. As the coalition set its sights on the future, the hope for a better galaxy was stronger than ever.